Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is Illfan85, back today with my latest video, another figure review as usual. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at my two Mecha-King Ghidorah Gashapon figures. So yes, I did get two of these, reason being I wanted one in the standing pose as well as in the flight mode. So I actually did get a hold of the one in his flying pose first. And I definitely really like it. I think it looks really, really cool. I just wanted to have one where he could, also stand as well. So this being a Gashapon figure, unfortunately, the parts aren't really movable, so there's really no articulation. We'll kind of just mention that right out of the gate here. So, so meaning that the poses that they're in are what they're in. So, like I said, I liked having him in the flying pose, but I wanted to have one in a standing pose as well. So that's the reason I got the two of them. I really like both of these. I think overall, the one in the flying pose does look better, but we'll kind of get into that. Just to kind of briefly go over Mecha-King Ghidorah, or as I usually kind of refer to him as Mecha Ghidorah, so I'll probably be switching back and forth in this video between the two names, just because Mecha-King Ghidorah is a little more long-winded than just saying Mecha Ghidorah, so that's kind of the reason why I use the shortened name. But Mecha-King Ghidorah is the more appropriate proper name, so I'll just kind of switch up probably during the video. So he did appear, he had one film appearance, that being Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 1991. Of course, that version of King Ghidorah, created by the Futurians. Sorry folks, that was just my phone. Anyways, so the Futurians sent the three cute little Dorats back in time to World War II, Lagos Island, where Godzilla was originally created, and put them there in Godzilla's place when they moved him into the ocean. That whole time debacle thing, which we're really not going to get into in this video, but that created that version of King Ghidorah. And as many fans have noted, I've never been crazy about that origin of King Ghidorah. I much prefer him as the, in his original incarnation, the Showa King Ghidorah, where he's a space monster, destroyer of worlds, this sort of ultimate, villainous kaiju as he was presented back in the Showa era, especially. So that's really what I liked as far as King Ghidorah, his origin goes. I do like the Heisei, this version of the 91 King Ghidorah, the Heisei King Ghidorah. I liked his design, and I even liked his roar, the modified Rodan roar that they used. I happen to like that. I was never really crazy about the sort of cackling, chirpy sound that the Showa King Ghidorah made. Just personally, I don't know, I just didn't think it sounded menacing enough. So the modified Rodan roar that they used in the Heisei one, I know a lot of people tend to disagree, but I personally liked it. I thought it sounded cool. It sounded a little more menacing, which is kind of what I want from King Ghidorah, especially as this, destroyer of worlds, as he was originally presented. I do like the Showa King Ghidorah, though. Like I said, I like his origins much better. And when he was flying too, I like that sound effect that they used for it. So, but anyways, when King Ghidorah himself, in the 91 film here, getting back to it, was defeated by Godzilla, losing one of his heads, having his wings kind of ripped apart from Godzilla's atomic breath. And he crashed into the ocean in a sort of comatose state, but Emmy and M11 said that he wasn't actually dead, so they went to the future, back to the 23rd century, and gave him an updated, retrieved the, King Ghidorah and modified him to give him this somewhat mechanical, design here, as it were. So he's not a fully mechanical robot like a Mecha Godzilla or something like that. He's more of like an like a half mechanical, almost like a cyborg type of kaiju, basically. So almost like, I don't know if any of you are familiar. I'm a big Digimon fan, so Mecha Ghidorah, seems very reminiscent to me of Metal Greymon. So that sort of half, bio, half mechanical sort of monster. So, and I know Mecha Ghidorah, came out before they had Digimon, Metal Greymon and all that. But I'm just saying, though, because I was familiar with Digimon before I saw this movie, that's what it reminded me of. Anyways, though, getting into it, though, because I am kind of going off on a tangent explaining about Mecha Ghidorah. Unfortunately, he did only have the one film appearance, and it's a shame because I do like Mecha-King Ghidorah a lot. I know he's been in video games and comic books and this and that, but unfortunately, to date, has only had the one film appearance. We'll see what happens. If you're familiar with Godzilla Godzilla King of the Monsters, the 2019 version. With that whole ending, we'll see what happens from that. But just getting into the figure review here, I just want to go ahead and take a look at both of these. So, gonna go ahead and take him off of here first so we can look at him. And just for that note, the flying Mecha-King Ghidorah did come with this one accessory, which that being the flight stand, of course, to have him in that flying pose. And it's two pieces. You got the base and then the little pole that sticks into it. So very simple, but for a Gashapon figure, pretty cool. Got a little accessory for that. So kind of just look at them together here. Both of them have that signature design for Mecha Ghidorah. He's got the one mechanical head, the center head. So it's done in that silver paint. Looking at the paint job first, you got the greenish eyes for both of them. Of course, the silver on the chest and abdomen area for all the mechanical parts here. You got that sort of goldish brown and silver for the mechanical wings on both of them. The one in the standing pose, as you can already see, is not quite as intricate looking, not quite as well painted and detailed as the one in the flying pose. So just kind of looking at that close up here, you guys can kind of see some of the differences. So, but both these are Gashapon figures, obviously. So they are both done by Bandai. Just though one is better sculpted and better painted and all that as opposed to the other. But, it is what it is. So, and as you can see, too, not quite the same size. This one is definitely smaller than this one. So keeping the parts in place there. But then he's got his signature sort of gold skin tone for for his biological parts of his bodies here. So on the legs. And of course the two outer heads, the that are the bio heads still. So in that gold color, they got the reddish eyes on them on both of them. Trying to see if the camera will focus and cooperate for you guys. Doing the best I can. And of course the tails with the golden color, and then of course the tips in that silverish mechanical color on both figures. So, not used to, I don't usually do more than one at one time, but I'm going to start, especially to get through the rest of my Gashapon figures. I want to try to, not every one of these reviews are going to be multiple figures, but some of them will be. So, like I said, I want to try to get through the Gashapon ones this way. Otherwise, just focus on my standard size figures, and I'm still gonna mix it up. So do a couple Gashapon reviews, couple standard size figure reviews, etc., etc. So, but as you guys can see, all that, and then of course you got the silver here on the kneecaps that go down the legs here to the ankles for those mechanical parts there. So they say he was in a comatose state, but then it's kind of basically implied that he really is brain dead, that he couldn't operate without Emmy controlling him from the cockpit, which, as you can see right there, top of the chest area on both. So, So that kind of segues us into the detail here. So again, the mechanical parts all look really well done. You got all the segmentations in the neck on the middle head there. Like I said, the detail work on the flying pose Mecha Ghidorah to me is much better than the one with the standing pose. So this is not quite a high, as high grade of a figure as this one. But, the Gashapon releases, though, they do have different versions, when they've reissued them, done different releases, that some were better detailed than others with certain of the kaiju. So, but you can definitely see you got all the scales on King Ghidorah for his bio, parts of his body here. Really nice detailing, especially for the flying pose one. I really think they did an absolutely awesome job here. But decent-ish enough for the one on the standing pose. And again, you got the scaling the spikes on the back of the necks here for the mechanical head as well as the bio heads. Look really, really cool. Again, all the scaling going down his body. That sort of spine on the back, on his back there. The detail work on the backs of the wings here, you guys can see. So those look really, really nice. Going all the way down to the tips of the tail with those mechanical tails that he's got there. Just again to take a little look-see. And the mechanical parts on the kneecaps there, as you guys can see. Doing the best I can, like I said, trying to do both together. Got all the detail work on the chest and abdomen area on both. Both of them look pretty good in here. Like I said, that little cockpit area at the top. The top of the chest, both of them have it present. So it's a nice little attention to detail there. So I definitely appreciate that for both of these. And then, like I said, then you got the detail work on the wings, and this is really, really where you can see the difference stand out. So you can see the lines and stuff, but very sort of just very base, just painted on, not really much etched in. Whereas these wings, you can see the patterning, which is very indicative of Mecha-King Ghidorah's look in the film. His wings that have that sort of matted, netted feel to it and appearance. And they really, really captured it well on the wings here on the flying pose one, whereas this one's more flat. So definitely something to note. So if you are looking into getting maybe a Mecha-King Ghidorah Gashapon figure, maybe you don't want both, and you're kind of deciding which one you want, I do have to say this one, the flying pose Mecha-King Ghidorah, as I've stated, has a lot more intricate detail work. So as far as the two figures go, I would say I prefer this one over this one, but I just, like I said before, I just wanted to have them both, just to have a flying pose and a standing pose. So, and as you see here, he just pops right on there. Unfortunately, because these are Gashapon figures, the pieces can fall out of place. But nonetheless, though, sits pretty nicely on that stand and definitely looks pretty cool. Like I said, not really much as far as articulation goes, really. You can sort of move like the wings and such, but really, though, these pieces just kind of fit into place and not really meant to be messed with, because then they sort of have a tendency to pop off, as you did see that wing fell off, and that was just from me messing with it for the review. So like I said, definitely something you gotta kind of take note of when doing this. But, nonetheless, I think they look really, really nice, though, both of them. Like I said, I prefer this one, but this one's pretty cool, too, though. I'm glad to have him in the standing pose. These are, I see more, I usually tend to see more of the one in the flying pose than I do in the standing pose, so he's a little harder to come by from what I've noticed. So that's something to keep in mind if you are looking to get these. Again, they're Gashapon figures, so they're more in like a, they're minifigures, 2 to 3 inch scale range. But just a cool little addition to the collection. So if you're in the market, they should be fairly affordable. I would say should be under $25, maybe even under $20 to get each of these. So. And like I said, I think they look really cool. They're nice Gashapon figures, and I definitely do recommend them. So if you guys are interested, you should be able to find them on eBay, etc., etc. Like I said, I definitely think they look nice in the collection. So with that, I think that about covers it for this video anyway. I would like to thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.